I fell for it. I fell for all the overhyped baby products. Well, maybe not all of them, but some of the overhyped baby products that I thought I absolutely needed. We would not survive babyhood without it. And I'm here to tell you that you probably will. And it's true that they don't need as much as you think they do. Today I want to share 10 baby products that we thought we absolutely needed that either I think was too expensive for what it was, or we didn't use it, or our baby didn't love it as much as other babies do. So some of these things might be a little bit baby specific and person specific, but these are 10 things that you might want to reconsider if they are something that's on your must-haves list. I'm going to start with the Love to Dream Swaddle. So this is the Swaddle up in the 2.5 tog swaddle that they can have their like little hands up, which I think that she really liked sleeping in that position. She liked her arms up. She liked to be able to move. She didn't like being constricted in a swaddle. So we thought that she'd really love sleeping in this, and she might have liked the design, but our house is pretty chilly and it said it was 2.5 tog, but only this white section is thicker. Everything else is just like this really thin, like light cotton fabric. So I just don't feel like she'd be warm enough. If the whole thing had been this like thicker fabric, I think she would have loved it. I think she actually would have liked the shape of the swaddle, but it just, in my opinion, shouldn't be called a 2.5 tog when the entire back and half of the front is this like gray thin material, and only this little section is the actual thicker, warmer material. So I just didn't think it would keep her warm enough, and it was really expensive for us to use it once. Instead, we actually personally moved out of swaddles really quick with her. So we had her in, it's technically like a swaddle sack, but moves, it's like a transition sack. So it has these little arms on each side that you can snap closed. So when they're snapped closed, then their little arms can be tucked in. So we used this and started transitioning her with her arms out around, I think even like 4 weeks. So you just like, we put one arm out at a time or both arms out, and then it just turned into a sleep sack after that. And then we transitioned her into it as a sleep sack, and we loved this thing. It's nice and thick, super stretchy though, and cozy. Yeah, so I would highly recommend. This is the Ergo pouch in the 2.5 tog. I think we have a 0 to 3 month size, so 3 to 6 kilogram size, or a 000 is the size we had, and she couldn't fit it probably until about 4 or 5 weeks. Next, I have the gowns, the newborn gowns that you like tie in a knot at the bottom. They're so cute. I wanted to love them so much, and we still have some, like we're still saving some for hopefully a future baby, and I think we liked them as long as you don't want to go anywhere ever, because you either have to change them into pants or change them at some point, because you can't go in a car seat in this, you can't like go into a carrier or into the stroller with this on, unless you have like a bassinet stroller. So maybe if you had a bassinet stroller, this would work really well, but like our Nuna, you technically still need to strap her in or them in. So I think these were overhyped for being as amazing as people think that they are, and I don't think I would purchase them again if I could do it again. The next thing is the baby mittens. We didn't even buy any, so I don't have any to show you, but the little tiny mittens that I feel like everyone talks about that you absolutely need, we did not buy them at all. I just always bought sleepers with hand coverings. So this was one of her newborn sleepers, and it has the little, like her little hands could be covered. So I didn't need to have mittens that could possibly come off. So like they're like mittens, but she can't lose them. So little footed sleepers like this. This one's up to like a 3 to 6 month old one, still has little hands on it. So I just, up until 6 months, made sure that all of her sleepers had hands. I didn't buy sleepers that didn't have hands, and that is how we got away with never having the little mittens. And I think it was much more practical, because then she could still wear the sleepers even when she didn't want the mittens, and the mittens can't fall off and she can't lose them. So yeah, I don't think you need mittens, just get sleepers with hands. The next thing is these what are these called? Bibs. These bibs that are more like the like stylish bibs that I think are more for like drooling or when they're teething and chewing on stuff and just, I guess, drooling quite a bit. We have not used one of these once, and we have like 15 of them. I bought way too many for not knowing that our baby wouldn't need them. This is definitely something super baby specific, because if you have a really drooly baby, I would put these on her a lot. If she was drooling or spitting up a lot, I would for sure use these, but she just wasn't a spit up or drooling baby. So I would say maybe get a set or two and just keep them tucked away. And then if you need more, order more, but I wouldn't upfront order a whole bunch of them. Okay, next up is a wearable breast pump. I know, again, another thing that a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on. I had the Mom Med S21, I believe it is. It's super cute, comes in pink. It just didn't work for me. I barely got any milk from it, and I just didn't enjoy the experience. I still felt like I couldn't go anywhere, so it didn't really matter that it was like a wearable pump, because it's not like it stayed in very well. I ended up switching to a hand pump for the few amount of times I did use a pump. But actually, it's kind of one of my next points too that I'll tag on to this. I think that something that is overhyped is having an oversupply. You don't need to have, unless you're going back to work and you need to start building up a supply, you don't need to have this massive freezer stash of supply. So I didn't even use a pump, to tell you the honest truth. I had my hand pump if I was engorged, or I just needed that little bit extra support, or if I was a little worried about my supply, I could pump a couple extra times just to make sure that it was still pretty steady. But I produce enough milk for my baby. She's gained weight super well. I don't have a big freezer supply, and I don't think that you need one. Again, this could definitely be person to person specific, because if you're going to work early or if you need to leave them in care with other people, then you for sure, like, you're gonna have to pump. I would look at one of the like electric pumps that you can plug in, or even just like the bigger, like full size pump machine if it's something that you're needing to pump with. And then maybe for those people too, a wearable pump is totally worth it. If you're pumping 8 times a day, having something that you could wear, I definitely get. But I was maybe pumping once a day, maybe. And I just think that that is something too that is overhyped, is having an oversupply. So my wearable pump and an oversupply are the next 2 points. The next thing is one I'm actually really sad to say, because when I first got it, and even now, like, I do love it, but it's not what I would have chosen as my first pick for a stroller. So we got the Nuna Stroller. We had a Nuna car seat. We love the car seat, by the way. But the stroller, there's just some features on such an expensive stroller. Actually, there's one big feature that just drives me crazy on such an expensive stroller that it should have. And I don't know if the newer model has it, so maybe do your own research into it. But we have a 2019 model, so it's a few years old. I got it on Facebook Marketplace. But the chair piece doesn't tilt. So when it's like sitting up, now that she's bigger and wants to sit more upright, I feel like she's gonna like slide out the bottom, or the harness of the chair is what's like holding her in the chair. And I feel like they should be able to sit in the chair and be comfortable in the chair, and the harness is there if they try to wiggle out or get out. It's not there to actually like hold them in place. So I just would recommend looking at one that the whole like chair piece tilts. I'll take you over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but I don't think my model tilts at all. And I think that that is something really important to have in a stroller. So this back part, this goes up and down, right? But this actual whole seat, so if I tip this up, this part doesn't adjust. And I would like this to be able to go back a little bit, because sometimes when she's sitting in this and it's kind of like, you can almost see like, it looks like she's gonna like tip down and kind of slide out this way. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on the buckle there when she's in here, because it just kind of tips forward, where if I could tilt this whole seat back, I'd be a lot happier with the whole stroller. The stroller's beautiful. I love everything else about it. And maybe if she gets bigger, maybe that actually will get better and I will love it more again. But at this current stage, I just don't love that I can't tip this entire seat back and I can only tilt the back of it. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't love the Nuna Stroller, at least like the older 2019 version. Again, I don't know if the newer one now does that, but I would be looking at an UPPAbaby, or we actually bought a Thule Urban Glide 2 on Facebook Marketplace again. So I got a really good deal on it, and we love that stroller. Yes, it is bigger to pack down, so you might not have the space for it in your car if you're trying to go a lot of places, and it might feel a little bit more bulky to take into like stores and stuff, but it is so smooth. She's so comfortable in it. Everyone seems so much happier with our walking situation, so I really do love that stroller. We'll likely keep the Nuna because we have it for future babies, because it is nice that you can put the car seat into it and it is more compact. I know you can buy like adapters for the Thule, but it is really nice that the Nuna is like set up to go with the car seat. So we'll probably keep it through the first 6 or so months with another baby, and then probably sell it as well, just because as she's gotten bigger, and I'm sure she gets even bigger, I'm just not a super big fan of the way the seat sits on it. Okay, the next thing is the Snuggle Me Organic. I'll be honest, I don't actually have a name brand Snuggle Me. I have one. It's by the, let me just find the tag. It's the Good Mother Infant Lounger. It's still made with organic cotton fibers, and it was the exact same dimensions, and I compared it with my friend's Snuggle Me, and it's practically the exact same thing. I just couldn't with the price tag of the Snuggle Me. So I did get one that's not on brand. I did get the actual Snuggle Me cover though for it, just because it matches something else I have from Snuggle Me Organics. But we barely used this, and I know so many people talk about how much they love it, they put their baby in it. We're not ones that could let her sleep in it because I know it's not sleep safe. So we did not let her sleep in it. So for the amount that she could actually go in it as a newborn when she fit in it, it was very small. With that being said, if you get gifted it or if you can get it secondhand, like we did use it for about a month, I just don't feel like the full price is worth that amount of time. I don't feel like you need this. They're not rolling, they're not moving. You don't need this thing to hold them in place. But again, if you can't afford it, or if you can get one secondhand or share one with a friend, we did use it for about a month. Just, it's too expensive for a month of use. The next thing is definitely going to be something that people are not going to agree with me on, but it is the Lovevery Play Mat. Now, don't get me wrong, we use this thing every single day. We did love it, but it's just too expensive, at least being a Canadian, for what it is. It was $140 US. I'll put the conversion up. Someone did buy it for us. It was a gift, and if you get it gifted, it is a beautiful play mat. It does have lots of cool features, but I just feel like she stopped using it at 7 months. As soon as she could crawl, she was not staying anywhere near this thing and hasn't touched it since. So for about 6 months, 7 months, we used it pretty consistently, but I just don't think that what you're getting out of it is worth that high price tag. There's lots of other play mats out there that have the arch and have the dangly toys and have things that jingle and have things that crinkle. It just is very expensive for what it is. With that being said though, again, we did love it and we will use it for future babies, but I wouldn't spend my own money on it again. Okay, another one is one that I feel like is gonna make people mad, but it is the Baby Bjorn Bouncer. And I know everyone has this on their list. It's everyone's like #1 baby product that you need, but we just didn't use it. Our baby didn't like being in it. She liked being held. She liked being in a carrier. She liked being with us. And as soon as she was active, she wanted to be moving. So we used it a handful of times, like maybe 5 times. We were super lucky. A friend lent it to us, and I am so grateful for that, because I would have purchased it. It would have been something that I felt like I needed, and it's a really big price tag for us to have used 5 times. Other people swear by it though, so this could definitely be just like a personal baby to baby thing. And if you could borrow it or get it on Facebook Marketplace or have someone that will let you try it or something similar, I would definitely do that before you commit to buying it, because your baby might not like it. Like I said, our baby, like the first time I put her in it and she sat in it and I was able to eat dinner, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing thing ever. And she maybe went in it 4 more times and was done, would not go in it again. We tried for like months periodically to put her back in it, and she just hated it. She hated it with the spinner toys on it. She just didn't like being in a container. Like, she didn't like being away from us. She wanted to be held. So she was either in a carrier being held or laying, like sleeping in her bassinet. And those were kind of the two locations that she was for the first 6 months of her life. And then once she was moving around, she doesn't want to be contained. That girl is on a mission, and she will not be contained by a baby bouncer or a seat of that sort. So she's crawling and climbing and moving, and now she wants absolutely nothing to do with it at 9 months. So it's a really expensive price tag for something that you might not use, and we just weren't a family that used it a lot.